Nate Goyard.
Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, won't stand. 2 hoes, 10 toes, new guap, coming bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks, Jackie Chan, as she pay. Bad bitch, no bag, I just hit another lick and she be counting in my rest. And I be feeling hella rich, no Brian, 100 stack, about to make another hit, God bitch, my life. Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, won't stand. 2 hoes, 10 toes, new guap, coming bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks, Jackie Chan, as she pay. Bad bitch, no bag, I just hit another lick and she be counting in my rest. And I be feeling hella rich, no Brian, 100 stack, about to make another hit, God bitch, my life. If she fucking with me, then you know I got it better. I be feeling like a Uzi, got my mind up on the check. Foot loose, getting groovy with your hoe, she love me better. I ain't talking ass cash, but that bitch she be my head. And I posted out with twin glass and phone bitches, no face. All they want is squad, I burn bridges. I be getting to the bag, you still cleaning dirty dishes. Doing mob set shots to your spot with no limits. Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your mans. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, won't stand. 2 hoes, 10 toes, new guap, cutting bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks, Jackie Chan, as she bad. Bad bitch, throw bag, I just hit another lick and she be counting on my rest. And I be feeling hella rich, no Brian, 100 stack, about to make another hit, God bitch, on my life. Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch.
What's up, guys? It's Agent What If, and I'm back again with another video. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment. But without any further ado, let's just get straight into this video. This is what if Deku was the son of both Hawks and Miruko. We start off with, not much. Miruko and Hawks are both younger people, and they're also both professional heroes, so it wouldn't take long for them to actually get introduced to each other. So yeah, I don't think I really need to explain that part. But anyway, after a while, Hawks' chasing of Endeavor, because he saw him as his idol, led him to discover Mirio when they all happened to have a mission similar to each other. He noticed immediately that she was more beautiful than he had ever seen than anything he had ever seen in his life before, and he knew that he wanted her to be his girlfriend. But Hawks, being the kind of guy he is, he didn't display any of that on the outward appearance. Miruko didn't really give him a second thought and just kind of proceeded with the mission. Of course, this led to Hawks trying to ask her out on a date multiple times but failing horribly. She, of course, knew what he was trying to do, but she was giving him a hard time on purpose because she thought it was funny. So he basically finally mustered up the courage to do it one day, and she said yes. When Izuku finished doing it, not even Izuku, what am I talking about? Hawks. When Hawks actually asked her out on a date, they went on a date, and then they proceeded to start a relationship after the second date. Izuku came along a while after, pretty much around 2 to 3 years later, after they had already been together for a while. Miruko found out that she was pregnant, and Hawks had just came back from a patrol, and he opened the door, and she immediately zoomed up to him and jumped on him, giving him a hug. He was wondering why, and then she said, "Hawks, I'm pregnant." And Hawks' expression for the first time actually showed outwardly, because Hawks is kind of like a spy, so he doesn't actually show a lot of emotion outwardly. So of course this was a adjustment. She saw that he was happy, but he was shocked still, and dude could not move or anything. He was just completely shocked. She then said nothing and just kept hugging him. Eventually his shock wore off and he was excited just like her. We then skip to 9 months in the future, where we come to the present day. When we get to present day, Izuku is currently being born. After he was born to Miruko and Hawks, then we time skip to about a year later. When a year later, they were just newly parents, and it was kind of hard for them to juggle both being heroes and being parents. So Hawks decided, since he actually has to go work less, and since Hawks has he doesn't have necessarily inferior abilities to Miruko, but he's not as good a fighter, and if he is, she has a distinct advantage due to her quirk, and also he's more like a spy. His utilities are elsewhere, not necessarily in just all-out brawling with someone like Miruko's are. So he decided that he would stay home a little bit more than she would, but they would both stay home equally when they did have, when one had more of an important duty to perform. So yeah. Then we skip 3 years later, when Izuku is 4 years old. This is the day they've been waiting for. They were super excited to see if Izuku had a quirk or not. And they were wondering why he didn't have an outward appearance to show it. They thought so because both of them were born with their quirks. And they knew immediately that they had quirks. So they were kind of expecting him to have like ears or wings or anything. But he didn't have anything. He looked relatively normal, just with blonde hair and red eyes. And of course, little bits of white at the end. Izuku was 4 years old and he was taken to the quirk doctor, and he was ready. He knew what his parents did as a job, so of course he wanted to be a hero just naturally. His mother was excited to train him, and his father was excited to train him as well. That's when the quirk doctor came back from a room and got their attention. They both perked up, all of them. He then said, clearing his voice, saying, your son. And then they immediately got scared. And then the doctor saw this and said, no, he does have a quirk. His quirk is sort of weird though. He has the abilities of you, but without the physical appearance. And a couple ones you both don't. They were both kind of shocked at this and looked at Izuku, and Izuku was just satisfied with himself, saying, yeah, I'm awesome, but internally. Of course, his father caught this. Miruko was just smiling, but, he was happy. The doctor then said that since your son has both of your abilities, he can fly, he can jump really high, and he also has incredible hearing, just like his mother, being able to hear so well that he can hear heartbeats. He can hear heartbeats from miles away. He can even hear footsteps when they're performed by someone who has a quirk that pretty much makes sound around them like not as easily heard. So he has incredible hearing. He has good sight like a actual hawk does. He also has talons that he can extend from his hand at will, including feet as well. He also just has a naturally stronger bone structure than most people because of the fact that his legs are designed to be able to jump. But all of his bone structure, was tampered with slightly so that he could actually become stronger in the birth process. So he has mild superhuman strength, being able to lift about 2 times the amount a normal human could. So not massively superhuman, but definitely superhuman. They were both excited and ecstatic. Hawks was a little disappointed since most of his abilities were actually not involved with Izuku, and only the bare minimum was involved. Right, like Izuku's, didn't actually have wings or anything. He was kind of disappointed slightly. But he quickly shook that off when Miruko looked at him with a smile, and he then smiled back at her. Izuku was excited, saying, I'm so powerful. Then that's when they both ruffled his hair, saying, of course you are, son. Then we skip to training. That's when we come to see Hawk sitting down with a bit of a frown on his face as Miruko and Izuku are sparring. They're both throwing kicks at each other. Izuku uses punches as well, but Miruko just typically catches them. And she tells him that every time he throws a punch, she's going to catch it. And if he throws a punch, she's going to flip him every time without fail. So Izuku is being taught like pretty much Taekwondo, but he has the habit of using his hands. So she's trying to break that habit out of him. Izuku gets hit with a powerful kick from Miruko, sending him absolutely flying. He actually hits into the fence around their house. And that's when Hawk stands up saying, I guess that's enough for today, since you both seem to be pretty tired. Miruko looks at Hawk saying, what? I'm not tired. I am never tired. And then that's when Hawk points over to Izuku, and she looks saying, and then he says, I know you're not tired, but he's tired. So just give him some time to rest. She then notices and understands, saying, oh, right, of course. She then kisses him on the cheeks and then walks into the house. Izuku goes over to his father, and that's when they start to have a talk. Izuku is upset at his mother. She's massively stronger than him, and even though he's been training for a while and he's actually stronger than her on a base level. Like if she didn't have like a lot of training, Izuku would easily be able to overpower her, even as a 4-year-old, right? Like, even as a 4-year-old. That's just how strong he is. Like, 2 times, some of the most genetically gifted normal human beings in the world in real life can lift up to 600 pounds. If you're like 6 foot and you got good genetics, you can lift 600 pounds. 2 times that is 1,200. Imagine that in a very, very concentrated form. Imagine how much PSI that would be. If Izuku grabbed your hand, he could crush all of the bones in your hand, because most of your skeletal structure will break very easily under lots of pressure. So yeah. And his strength does get better as well. Since that's just his natural strength. He didn't actually train for that. So if Izuku did train, he gets 2 times the benefits of, like, lifting weights and stuff that a normal person does. So yeah, Izuku would be massively powerful, but he's been getting beaten by his mother this entire time. And Hawk says, I guess she'll be mad at me, but I don't care. Then that's when he whispers in his ear, and he then says, wait, really? Izuku said. Hawk says, yes, really. And he says, but how do I do it? And he's like, I can help you with it if you want. And Izuku's eyes light up, saying, yes, Dad, thanks. That's when Hawks and Izuku start sparring a bit, and then Hawks punches Izuku in the face, saying, just because I'm not your mom doesn't mean I'm weak. I'm actually pretty strong, even though I don't look it. And Izuku realizes this firsthand when he flashes behind him and actually kicks him in the arm. The only reason he's going this hard is because Izuku can take it. That's when Izuku picks himself up and Hawks flashes behind him, exuding killing intent. And then that's when Izuku's head starts hurting, and he quickly jumps out of the way before Hawks can even touch his head. Because Hawks was exuding the killing intent of him about to, snap Izuku's neck. But he actually wasn't. But it served the purpose. And then Izuku said, wait, how did I do that? And he said, that's what your mother's been doing to catch your punches. Rabbits have sort of kind of a danger sense, because of the fact that they are extraordinarily preyed upon by most animals in the animal kingdom. Anything that can eat them eat them. So they naturally develop overly cautiousness, and that even starts to develop into sort of a danger sense, being able to understand that a situation can be dangerous even if it's not visibly dangerous. And Izuku says, so I have a pre-warning system. And Izuku then says, and Hawks then says, yes, that's how your mom catches your punches. That's when Miruko walks outside saying, oh, I was going to start on dinner, putting on a robe, and then saying, oh, you guys are still training? But I thought you said he was tired. Hawks then nods his head saying, he just was a little feisty. He gets it from his mother. And then she smiles saying, okay, don't be too long. You both need to wash up so I can cook dinner and we can finish eating. And that's when Hawk smiles at his son with an eye smile and then goes into the house. We then time skip around 10 years into the future. Izuku's grown up to be quite strong. He's not as strong as his mother, but he can actually fight his mother pretty convincingly. His father actually learned a while ago that Izuku actually does have wings. They only can come out when Izuku wants them to come out. So kind of like the reverse of what Hawks has. And he basically gets all of the side abilities that Hawks gets with his wings, but Izuku has to let them out. Izuku is a quite powerful foe, seeing with his incredibly good eyesight and his precision due to that eyesight, his pretty much spider senses, his extraordinarily strong legs and body in general. He's pretty formidable, along with his claws, which are actually strong enough to cut through steel. Izuku's been sparring with pretty much A-listers his entire life, so he's naturally really, really strong. Izuku's wings are slightly different than his father's, though. It's kind of, I forget, but in the anime, I'm pretty sure, Hawks' one feather from Hawks can, lift a lot of weight and are super, super tough and durable, except to fire because they're feathers. So, yeah. Izuku has those same abilities, but since Izuku's strength is higher, his wings or feather strength are higher as well. So Izuku's wing or feathers can carry twice as much as Hawks's can, and are even can grow larger than most most wings, especially Hawks's. He also has sort of a telekinetic control over them, which he can even use to like make bigger objects out of his wings. He can even like tighten them, which makes them extraordinarily sharp and deadly. Izuku's become quite the formidable foe, and even started taking on his mother and father at the same time around the age of like 10. So yeah, he's an A-lister. Izuku decides one day in the middle of a spar that he's going to defeat both of them, and if he defeats both of them, they have to let him go to UA. And you might be wondering, why would they not want him to go to UA? The reason they don't want him to go to UA is because they both deem it unnecessary. Izuku is incredibly smart. He's a certified genius, right? They didn't slack off on his knowledge just because he's strong. Izuku's a certified genius, already has the physical abilities of an A-lister. He doesn't need to go to the school, but Izuku insists that it's good for development. They both try to argue this with him, but he really doesn't like listening when it comes to this point. So they just decided to actually act like real parents and tell him no and not really like let him do it. So Izuku pretty much decided that if they were going to act like... Sorry for the pause, I'm back now. After Izuku threw her down, she quickly recovered and dashed forward towards him again. Izuku then began to dodge all of her attacks as quickly as possible, trying not to get hit. Then that's when his father flew up towards him and punched him in the face, sending him back down. That's when he got hit again by his mother in the back. But then we actually know that this is a hole in Izuku's head, and he just predicted what would happen. And he immediately dodges his father's punch and actually knees him in the stomach. He uses his body to attack his mother, who's caught off guard by this. Izuku dashes behind her and kicks her in the back. Once by the time they recover and get themselves back together, Izuku already has a whole lot of feathers pointed around them that could easily slit their throats and just destroy them, rip them to shreds. He then says, "I guess I win," and he begins to walk away. They both then chuckle to themselves, saying, "I guess you do." And then he walks away. They then both say, maybe we should have tried a bit harder. And then that's when Miruko says, no, he needed the win. We were always going to let him go anyway. And that's when Izuku is listening in saying, I knew it. He then continues walking away. We then time skip to when Izuku is about to take the exam for UA. And he's kind of nervous. Izuku then begins to walk up to the gate. But I think that's where we're going to end this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and all of that other stuff, because I just love the support on our last couple of videos, so I hope we can keep that up on this one. So without any further ado, peace.